Well, good afternoon. I'm David Fogarty. I'm the president of CET. I want to welcome you, and I want to particularly welcome the elected officials that are here, as well as the agency staff and leadership that is here. This press conference is today at CET because over the past several months we've been actively involved with a variety of community groups to help answer a question: how can people avoid the prospect of losing their homes? Many of those efforts have been led by the Home Ownership Center here in Cincinnati, Greater Cincinnati. And I'm going to turn the podium over to Rick Williams, the president and CEO of that agency. Rick, would you lead us on?
Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for being here. I'm here to kick off an outreach campaign being led by the United States Departments of Treasury and Housing and Urban Development in partnership with the Home Ownership Center and various partners in our community. We thank the members of the President Obama administration for being with us on the ground to lend their support to help Greater Cincinnati homeowners find ways to avoid foreclosure. We are pleased to partner with them to support the Making Home Affordable program. In just 6 months, the Making Home Affordable program has been making a difference in the lives of thousands of Americans across the country by providing refinance and loan modification options for homeowners. This partnership is designed to increase the awareness about foreclosure prevention and the options available to homeowners through the Making Home Affordable program. In 2 weeks, on October 14th, 15th, and 16th, there will be a phone-a-thon, a foreclosure prevention phone-a-thon here in Cincinnati, where borrowers can call 1-877-BUZZ-US to receive information about making home affordable and begin the process for saving their home and avoiding the risk of foreclosure. With us today are officials from the Departments of Treasury and Housing and Urban Development, and they're working tirelessly across the country to make Making Home Affordable accessible to homeowners. I am going to introduce next the Mayor of Cincinnati, Mayor Mark Mallory.
Thank you very much. Today is another great day in the city of Cincinnati, and we're honored to have with us the Treasurer of the United States, Rosa Rios, here in Cincinnati today. You know, foreclosures have been having a devastating effect on many of our neighborhoods, and we've been working very hard to reduce the number of foreclosures in our city and help families stay in their homes. The city of Cincinnati has put into place a number of strategic initiatives in partnership with organizations like the Home Ownership Center, Hamilton County, the state of Ohio, and now we're glad to add the U.S. Treasurer as a partner to make Cincinnati a better place to live, and literally we're going to bring things back one house at a time. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce Congressman Steve Driehaus.
Thank you, Mayor. One of the great privileges I have working in Congress and working in Washington is to deal with an administration that gets it when it comes to foreclosure, that gets it when it comes to community development. And at no place is this more evidence than at Treasury. And the team that has been put together at Treasury is simply fantastic. And I am here today to introduce our Treasurer of the United States of America, Rosa Rios. Rosie, like me, comes from a big family, but her big family is in California. And for years she has worked with communities in community development and working with neighborhoods to revitalize neighborhoods. But most importantly, you know, despite the fact that she is Harvard educated and proud to be Harvard educated, her heart is working with the people on the street and working with the people on the street when it comes to financial literacy, which is so critically important. So she is integrally important in this team of leaders at Treasury to help us take the next step forward in protecting our communities. So without further ado, I want to introduce to you the Treasurer of the United States, Rosa Rios.
Thank you so much, Congressman. That was a very, very lovely introduction. I appreciate that. And I just want to emphasize, as was mentioned, this is an issue that's very, very near and dear to my heart. I'm here on behalf of the Secretary. I am also here on behalf of the administration to represent a program that, in my opinion, is one of the most critical ever. And as was mentioned, my career, just about my entire career, was focused on community development issues on the ground, with businesses, with residents, with homeowners, and trying to move forward to revitalize disadvantaged areas. And so it is absolutely a delight to be here. The Department of Treasury is dedicated to helping Americans stay in their homes. And I would like to thank everyone here today, all our partners, all our stakeholders, for their extraordinary efforts in helping realize this shared goal. This is Treasury's first phone-a-thon with the Obama administration's Making Home Affordable program. And we are thankful to the Home Ownership Center of Greater Cincinnati and PBS for making this happen. So again, it is absolutely my honor to be here. And I understand you will get an enormous amount of information on the Making Home Affordable program. But I also want to emphasize for the folks who will be watching this that we don't want to compete with the phone-a-thon, but we do want to emphasize that there are very safe resources out there that the American public can contact in order to make sure that they can seek the opportunities to save their homes. And so we do have some hotlines and some websites that are available. So we urge borrowers to visit especially www.makinghomeaffordable.gov. In addition, we have the Homeowners Hope Hotline, which is 1-888-995-HOPE, H-O-P-E. So again, my thanks to everyone for having us here. We're looking forward to working with our partners and making this program as successful as possible. So thank you again.
I get to come back up and talk now. I was told I wasn't able to talk. Now the cameras are turned off and I'm able to talk. To my former colleague, State Representative Dale Mallory. Yeah, they're used to that. Listen, this is critically important. This is a critically important partnership between Treasury and the Home Ownership Center, and I'm thrilled that we're doing this here in Cincinnati. Many of you know that we have been working on the issues of predatory lending and foreclosures for years. We put together a task force on the west side of Cincinnati, I think back in 2001 or 2002. This is not new to us. We saw this develop, and many of you in the room were there when we were dealing with the issues of predatory lending in Columbus, when we tried to put together the foreclosure task force and put together the foreclosure task force under the governor. But it's not until 2009 that the federal government is now stepping up to their responsibility, stepping up and understanding what we need to do in terms of regulatory reform on Wall Street to prevent this type of financial failure in the future. While I'm excited to be part of that as a member of the Financial Services Committee, I'm saddened that it's happening toward the end of 2009. Had this happened 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, we wouldn't be in this mess. We wouldn't be experiencing the devastation that we have experienced in so many of our neighborhoods when it comes to the foreclosure crisis. So we're going to be talking later at the roundtable about some of the steps the federal government is taking, but I am very sincere when I talk about the dedication that the Obama administration is putting forth in this effort. And we have a tremendous partner in Treasury. So it really is an honor to have the Treasurer of the United States here with us today. They have been tremendous partners in this effort, and I'm thrilled that they've picked Cincinnati for this effort. So with that, I'll turn it back to you, Ray.
As I mentioned earlier, we have two divisions of the government today, the U.S. Treasury and the Department of Housing and Urban Development, and Mr. Ingram Lloyd will speak next.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm pleased to be here in Cincinnati with Rosa Rios and from the Treasury and Congressman Treehouse, Mayor Mallory, and our local partners at this important event for the administration's Making Homes Affordable. Over the past several months, HUD has been working very closely with the Department of Treasury to implement the President's housing plan and helping homeowners avoid foreclosure through the Making Homes Affordable program. An important part of our work is providing all partners in local communities, such as lenders, local government officials, and housing counselors, with information they need in order to raise public awareness about foreclosure prevention options under the program. Since the program's inception more than 6 months ago, HUD staff around the country have been busy getting the word out to local partners at every possible event, answering questions, arming them with critical information about the program. HUD is pleased to be participating in the program today in Cincinnati because we know the foreclosure crisis has hit this community hard, and this is a critical need to get information out and resources out and helping local partners and borrowers stem the tide of foreclosure. Today's event is focused on training home counselors on making homes affordable, and I can't stress enough how important our network of 2,600 HUD-approved housing counseling agencies around the country is to the success of the Making Homes Affordable program, and ultimately helping families keep their homes. Housing counselors are independent, trusted advisors in the community that are providing high-quality services that distressed homeowners can depend on. They are essential to educating homeowners on foreclosure prevention options and helping them establish a plan of action and navigating through what is often confusing and a stressful process. This is why HUD has requested a $100 million investment in our Housing Counselor Assistance Program for fiscal year 2010. This represents a $35 million increase from fiscal year 2009. This investment will help further support the work of HUD's approved housing counseling agencies across the nation who are playing a key role in ensuring that borrowers can take part in the modification and refinancing options made available through Making Homes Affordable. HUD is looking forward to continuing to work closely with our partners in Cincinnati and to successfully implement Making Homes Affordable program, the Making Homes Affordable program, and helping more families keep their homes. Thank you.
I'm David Pepper. I'm on the Hamilton County Commission. I'm privileged to be here today. Let me thank the Treasurer also for joining us. We are flattered and honored to have you here, and this is a great event, particularly in 2 weeks when we get the Phone-a-Thon going. We have been, as the Mayor said, as Congressman said, we've been working very hard in Hamilton County, Cincinnati, in partnership to deal with this major challenge of foreclosures, and I'm very proud of the work we've done. I was honestly at a Bengals game about 3 weeks ago, and I had a gentleman just come up to me out of the blue and say, "You saved my home." And one of the things we did about 2 months ago is we had free PSAs where we gave out the number that we have around here, 211, and he called it. I asked, at first I said, "Excuse me?" He said, "You saved my home." He said, "I saw that TV ad, and I called 211, and I got a counselor, and you saved my home." And as was just discussed, there are a lot of programs coming down the pike. There are a lot of important efforts taking place. For all of them, though, the key to me is that counselor who connects the homeowner who may be confused, who may be stressed, who may not even know to call, to all these programs and lines them up so that it works for that homeowner. And that was just one example of thousands of people in Hamilton County and Cincinnati who we have saved from foreclosure because they called the number, got a counselor, and had their home saved. And we also know that we didn't just save the home for that person or that family, most importantly, but we also saved it for that community. And every time you see a home fall into foreclosure, turn into a blight, get into that repeat cycle of blight, it doesn't just affect that homeowner, that family, it affects the entire community. It lowers the property values. It often creates a blight that people are frustrated with for years. So when we see the numbers that we've saved thousands of homes, we also, in the end, have really touched communities and preserved millions of dollars of what otherwise would have been lost property value. So I've been very proud to be part of it, and we're incredibly happy to have the recognition and the further work we'll see through this phone-a-thon. I want to thank, and I know you probably do it as well, Cincinnati Bell. Cincinnati Bell, I guess, provides the technology to make this work. The prior phone-a-thon had 10 phone lines. This one's going to have 75. Hopefully that doesn't just show the demand. It shows that we want to build capacity to answer every single call we can in a couple of weeks. I have the honor today of one of the partners in all this work, and the state of Ohio jumped up early to take on this under the new administration in the Save the Dream program. And I want to introduce from the Ohio Department of Commerce to tell us a little bit about that program, Jennifer Flatter. Welcome.
Thank you very much. On behalf of Governor Strickland and Director Zers at the Department of Commerce and all of our Save the Dream partners, we want to thank everyone for the opportunity to be here today. This is an important partnership, and we're excited to take part in it. As Congressman Driehaus mentioned, at the state level, we started this endeavor back with the Foreclosure Prevention Task Force. And one of the things that came out of that task force was the need for borrowers to get assistance easily. And that's how we came up with the Save the Dream program. It was mentioned just a moment ago. Part of our program also has a hotline, 888-404-4674, and also a website, savethedream.ohio.gov. Great resources for people, and I think the most important thing we can take away today is that there are numerous free resources available. We've heard several of them, 211 in addition to all of those resources at the federal level. So it's important to get help that's free. No need to pay anyone money to have assistance. And again, it's unfortunate that we are still fighting the foreclosure crisis, but the great news is that the federal government is a partner in the effort today. So thank you.
And I have the great opportunity to say that we are wrapping up. There are some people that need to be acknowledged. The phone-a-thon that we're going to have, I need to repeat that, October 14th, 15th, and 16th. The phone number for the phone-a-thon, 1-877-7-BUZZ-US, which is the best way to remember it. But the phone number, the actual numbers, 1-877-728-9987. And that is the opportunity for homeowners who are at risk of foreclosure to make that call and begin the process. The great thing about this partnership with the Treasury is it brings lenders and loan services to Cincinnati. It is the one component that we have not had in the previous two phone-a-thons. We had over 800 calls in the first one and over 3,300 in the second. We expect even additional calls on this one, and we have the phone lines will be open and marketed for 3 days instead of 1, because we're looking forward to providing the opportunity for homeowners to access their lender. That process can often take months. Well, it does take months, sometimes 6 to 9. We're going to cut that into 30 days. This is great for homeowners in Greater Cincinnati, and we really appreciate this partnership with the U.S. Treasury and making home affordable. Acknowledgement. David Pepper mentioned Cincinnati Bell. It's hard to do a phone-a-thon without a phone. I don't need to say more. And the others are here. I need to acknowledge some elected officials. Dale Mallory is here. Denise Driehaus. I want to acknowledge some partners who are in the audience. We are a member of a network called Neighborworks Network, and it is a national intermediary, a national network of over 220 organizations just like us across the country. We are congressionally created and funded, and we're lucky to have a district office here in Cincinnati. So a lot of our district office peers and friends are here, and from Neighborworks America, so I'll acknowledge your presence as well. Paul Poston, District Director. City of Cincinnati, the Department of Community Development, Michael Survey is here. I'm going to look through the audience. Member of our board, David Coors from Fifth Third Bank. India Davis from Spirit of America Bay. Isn't that a crazy name? Sorry. The Federal Reserve is here twice. Behind me is Levon Henry from Federal Reserve. New to Cincinnati. Welcome, Levon. And Jeff Gatika is in the audience as well. Cindy Flaherty from the state of Ohio is here. Another board member, Pickett Harrington from Xavier University. The city manager is on stage with us. Was on stage with us. Oh, that's right. There's an event across the street. Jim Cunningham from HUD, Housing and Development. And one of the primary things, we have a host of volunteers. And David Pepper mentioned we are typically doing this with 10 phones, which really is a lot of volunteers because they're manned for hours. We're going to have 75, and they need to be fed. And Kroger Company has done that every single time, and they're doing that again. And Janet Oshtenmore is here representing Kroger, and we thank you very much. I will also say, I only have to say the name, and he's here, Mr. Greater. And in order to have food and phones, you have to have operators. And U.S. Bank stepped forward and is providing all of the volunteers to man all of those phones, and it is taking over 300 people to man 70 phones over 3 days, and it is a huge contribution and a huge partnership, and we want to thank them very, very much. Very, very much. And Dan Gronick is behind me. And I don't think I've left anyone out. Oh, I have. I'm sorry. At the last Phone-a-Thon, we had an incredible partnership with Legal Aid Society of Greater Cincinnati. And what that offered is an opportunity for homeowners to actually get free legal advice as a part of our service presentation. And Mark Lawson is in the audience representing. I'm combing. Thank you all very, very much for being here. And thanks to my staff, who is all in blue and white.
Thank you.